brought to you by Cobra-Source MMA. Today we're at Reno Academy of Combat in Reno, Nevada. We're going to be talking to Rick Collup. We're going to be talking to him about his fight career, about his gym here in Reno, Nevada. We're also going to be talking to him about his fighters, the show that he promotes, Ultimate Reno Combat, the #1 amateur show in the country. All right, so let's go inside and have a talk with Rick. Academy of Combat. We're here talking to fighter, trainer, and promoter Rick Collup. First, we want to thank you for having us here today and for joining us and taking the time to do that. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Thanks for coming.
We appreciate it a lot. Want to find out what got you going in combat sports. Where did you start at? I know you started out as a fighter. How long did you do that, and what kind of accomplishments did you have in your fighting career?
I started when I was 7 in martial arts and just went on to do full contact karate, which went into no holds barred, which went into, fighting all over the United States, and I guess it was no holds barred at the time, and then into gladiator challenge, king of the cage.
So when you started way back, because you're dating yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because when it's no hold, that's like when I got started in it. People were calling that before it was calling it MMA. So you've won a gladiator challenge champion title, right?
Yes. Yep, I won that in like 2004, which is dating me.
Again, we're dating him. Now you have your own school. We're here in Rick's school right now, Reno Academy of Combat. It's a beautiful facility. I know he's worked real hard to get this place going and get it up and running. So how long have you had the school, and what made you want to transition into being a trainer?
We've had the Reno Academy of Combat about 22 years, but it was actually named something else about 15 years ago, but it's evolved just like everything. We've been in this exact location about 7 years, but we've been in business for 22 years now. So
nice. That's a long time. A lot of gyms come and go, especially because you guys specialize in MMA training. For you as a trainer, what do you think it is that your school really specializes in? Some do stand-up, some do ground, some put it all together and do MMA. What do you think it is that you guys specialize in?
I don't know. I was doing arm bars and stuff before it was even popular, so we really do everything. We don't really focus on anything. I would have to say MMA. It's evolved so much, and we've been MMA the whole time. We've never been just jiu-jitsu, just boxing. We've always done everything with MMA.
So from the start, when you first started your gym, were you teaching MMA at that time, or did you start out with some traditional stuff and you kind of rolled into doing the MMA now?
I did an art called Hanando for 13 years. I got to be third-degree black belt, and I actually got to train some Navy SEALs and Army Special Forces, stuff like that, and I got to do a bunch of stuff with that. And that actually was a lot of joint manipulations and arm bars and breaks and stuff. So that actually was that just was a plus on top of everything, but that was my original school, and then it evolved into MMA.
Okay, and you use a lot of that. Like, I'm from a traditional martial arts background. When I started doing it, I started out boxing when I was 10 years old, young like you. We don't want to date ourselves, but and I utilize a lot of that traditional stuff when I'm teaching MMA, because a lot of these new guys come out, they don't learn all that, the old school martial arts stuff. So do you like to put some of that stuff into your MMA, and it's kind of stuff that people aren't used to seeing?
I love doing that. You're totally right. People would be like, oh, I've never seen that in jiu-jitsu, and I go, well, that's because it's not jiu-jitsu. It's, there's more. You have to open your mind, and there's a lot more than just jiu-jitsu, and like we were talking earlier, judo. That's what I love about MMA. It's constantly evolving.
Yeah, that's true. And being mixed martial arts, people have kind of shoehorned it down into boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, when I think there's a whole lot more to it, and that can be added to it to make it more prolific and make the fighters better in the sport. And I think coming from a martial arts background like yourself, that's probably something that you like to implement here.
Yeah, my personality is, even when I fought in the early days, I was I was a lot of people would call me the kickboxer because I knocked a lot of people out kicking them in the head, and I wasn't afraid to be taken to the ground because I would catch an arm bar or something. And so that's kind of what's gone into my students is you'll never see like a wrestler coming out of here or anything specific. It'll always be everything, and we learn from everybody.
I like that about you. You're very open. And like myself, you know, you're open to learning new things all the time. Anything that you could add to what you already have and the skill set that you already got, so that you can pass it on to your fighters. To me, that's a sign of a really good trainer who's willing to do that and continue to learn and not just stick to one basic thing that they think that this is the thing that needs to be done. You know, so for you to branch out is a really good thing, and it's a really positive thing as a trainer to do something like that. I'd like to talk to you about some of the guys you have coming out here. You have a great facility here, a great school. I know you have a really good fight team, and I'd like for you to tell me about some of the up-and-coming fighters that you have coming out of here.
Okay, well, we have one of the first ones would be Oscar. He is 3-2 as a pro right now. He's doing awesome. I could easily say he should be 5-0 like everybody, but he's not. And things happen. That's what I love about MMA. But we have St. John Smith. He's I think he's 6-0 as an amateur, and now he's 2-0 as a pro, and he's making a huge. Everybody loves watching him fight because he does everything. We have a bunch of girls and a whole bunch of other people. You know, I could go on and on with different names, but those are the ones I'm excited about. My own daughter is fighting MMA. She's 16, and she's 2-0 right now, even at that age. We have a guy that came from New York who was 10-0 as amateur, and now he's 2-1 as a pro. Trey Williams, a really tough kid, and a really, like, the thing about all these guys, and I know everybody thinks this, but I really love all my fighters too because they're really good guys. They're really good people. So.
Well, I think that also that stems from, you know, who they have as a coach, you know, and the kind of attitude that you can put out into a gym when you're training guys and the other guys. They kind of work off of each other. So if you have a group of really good guys, then you'll know who is and who isn't, and the is not is going to end up, you know, leaving most likely. So it's good that you can put a real good group of guys together like that. So it sounds to me like your fight team's doing really well, and you guys are very accomplished and have really good up-and-comers. The other thing I want to talk to you about is your promotion. So you're the owner and promoter of Ultimate Reno Combat. You have your shows here in Reno all the time. You're also the #1 amateur promotion in the country. And I would like to say that I've had a lot of guys fight on your show that I've trained, and I have to say that you put on a fantastic show, a really good show. I appreciate the treatment, and you're very professional when you're doing your show. How long have you been doing that, and what do you see in the future for that show?
Well, we've been going since 2008, and the only reason I even started it was to get my fighters fights here in Reno, because I traveled all over, and I actually lost money fighting. Completely lost money fighting, and I never had any corners, and I actually had one of my girlfriends corner me once, and it was just very unprofessional. But I wanted to make something professional, and we did. We're on our 49th event here, and we're actually kind of evolving. We used to be Ultimate Reno Combat. We're kind of turning into URC promotions, and hopefully maybe go into some other states. I want to do pro events very soon. I just need to get basically the Reno crowd behind us and see how that goes. You know, just do the best we can.
Yeah, doing really well. I was going to ask you about that. I was asking about branching out and doing more shows outside of Reno, and also about doing pro fights. You know, that's something I wanted to ask you about. I'm glad you brought that up. So how long do you think it would be until you're able to facilitate doing pro fighters on your show? Are you going to do like an amateur pro card, or just all pro for one show, all amateur for another?
Well, under Nevada athletic rules, you have to have a certain amount of minutes to do a pro-am. So that would be my goal, is to do a pro-am and see how it turns out. To do a pro fight in Nevada, you have to have more licensed fighters in Nevada, and as a promoter, I have to pay to fly them in all over, so that can be very expensive, and for their medicals and stuff, because Nevada is probably one of the hardest states to get licensed in, Nevada and California. But I'm trying to get more pros, and not just from my gym, but more pros from around here, and that way it'll alleviate the cost, and if we get crowd participation in the sport, that'll really help. But I actually was going to do a pro event last year, and it just didn't work out. I really didn't have enough fighters that were Nevada licensed.
Okay. If you were to do a show outside of the Reno area, where do you think you would want to do your first URC show outside of this area?
I would put my feeler gauges out there, because I really have a lot of friends that do promotions, and I'm not that person. Like, I don't want to infringe on them at all. But I mean, it is a business, but I would definitely ask, and I would be very respectful. But I really, maybe Oregon, I really don't know. Nevada would be the first place.
All right, so we're going to have to wait on that and see what kind of decision he makes on where it is he wants to do that at. But we'll be happy to have guys on that show and try and get some fighters, try and help you out, put some guys on that show for you. When is your next show? When's the next URC show that's coming up?
December 5th. It's a Friday night. It's going to be at the Reno Event Center. So we've been to a bunch of different casinos in Reno and stuff. My favorite venue in Reno is the Reno Event Center, and that's why we keep going back to it. I'm not really a fan of casinos, and I know that the crowds are maybe a little bit more, but I really like the Reno Event Center. It's just professional. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a couple outside events at the Sands Regency next summer. Our event we just did was outside at the Sands Regency, and everybody loved it. So that turned out really good. You know, sorry I wasn't able to make it to that, but I've been at quite a few of his shows, but I wasn't able to make that one. So the outside venue turned out pretty good for you. Yes.
For up here, like during the summer, maybe spring, summer type area, you know, that'd be a good time for you to do those outside, and then everything inside will be at the Reno Event Center. For right now, is most likely is where you're having that kind of stuff at. If you have an opportunity, you need to come to this guy's show. I'm telling you, he puts on a professional show, very good show. He takes very good care of the fighters. For being amateur fighters, he takes very good care of them. That's why I like having my guys on his show. The guy's a consummate professional, and I just enjoy being on his show. Trust me, I've fought on a lot of shows, and he treats your fighters really well. You feel like you're on a professional show for having amateur fighters. And me as a coach, I'd like to say thank you for that. I really appreciate that a lot, because there's places that I've gone and oh man, it's horrible. But you don't have to worry about that with Rick's shows. I'd like to, well, first I want to know if there's anybody you want to give a shout out to, say thank you to, or anything like that.
I'd like to thank my family first and foremost. My wife's been awesome, my daughter. All our fighters and stuff are my family also, and they're very, very good friends and family, and of course you guys. So
well, we want to thank Rick for having us out here. Also, we want to put out there Blood Happens, all right? Rick sponsors fighters with his Blood Happens, and so we want to throw that out there. I don't know why he didn't, but you know, I'll put it out there for him. But again, we want to thank Rick and his whole family, his wife, his whole family, the fighters, and for having us out here. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
This has been sponsored by Comedy Beat, November 14, 2014. Doors open at 8 p.m. Show starts at 9 p.m. at The Station, 1100 Orlando Avenue in Roseville, California. This is a Cobra-Source entertainment presentation.